속에 우리 친구들이 있습니다. 승원이와 농구 대결을 좋아하는 모이브.
모이브요? 농구 진짜 잘하죠. 근데 전 못 넘어요.
뭐래? 내 집에 수신 잘 쏴.
하늘이와 떡볶이를 먹으며 수다를 즐기는 카리나.
얘요? 얘 명구 진짜 잘 먹어요. 진짜 안 맵냐? 전혀.
민승이와 편의점 가는 걸 좋아하는 윤수도.
윤수 다른 점이요? 뭐 있냐?
글쎄?
우리에게 중요한 건 우리 모두 친구라는 사실. 우리는 모두 우리입니다. 공익광고 협의회.
The time is now 2 o'clock.
Welcome to BFM News at 2. I'm David Kim. President Yoon Suk-yeol arrived in Hawaii on Monday local time, beginning his U.S. trip aimed at strengthening South Korea's security against North Korea's advancing nuclear and missile threats. Yoon will spend 2 days in Honolulu before heading to Washington, D.C. for a North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO summit on Wednesday and Thursday. Upon arrival, Yoon and First Lady Kim Gun-hee visited the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, where they laid wreaths to honor veterans of the 1950-53 Korean War. South Korea has pledged $7 million to a global fund aimed at addressing loss and damage caused by climate change, focusing on assisting underdeveloped nations. Deputy Finance Minister Choi Ji-young announced this contribution during a Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage Board meeting in Songdo. The fund, launched in 2023 at COP28, supports vulnerable countries facing climate change effects. Choi expressed hope that South Korea's contribution would inspire other nations to donate voluntarily. To date, 19 countries have committed a total of $792 million to the fund. In local news, amid ongoing debates about sudden acceleration incidents, a new bill has been proposed to mandate the installation of black boxes that monitor pedal operations in vehicles. Representative Lee Yeon-seung of the People Power Party announced the bill, which aims to amend the Automobile Management Act to require pedal black boxes based on vehicle type, purpose, and passenger capacity. Non-compliance could result in up to 3 years in prison or fines up to 30 million won. The law, if enacted, would take effect 3 years after its announcement and apply to newly manufactured vehicles. This follows a tragic accident near Seoul City Hall, highlighting the difficulty of determining whether such incidents are due to vehicle defects or driver error. Busan City, in cooperation with the Korea Land and Housing Corporation, announced a new initiative today to enhance safety management in public construction projects. The program includes safety management consulting, smart safety equipment support, daily site safety coaching, and regular safety capacity building education. AI surveillance cameras and risk alert systems will be implemented to detect and respond to hazards early. Busan National University has announced the release of Busan Flavors, a book co-authored by 14 humanities scholars from the Department of Chinese Language and Literature. The book, divided into 7 chapters covering soups, seafood, meat, noodles, snacks, side dishes, and beverages, explores 19 traditional Busan dishes. It includes cultural comparisons of ingredients across East Asia through historical texts. The university describes the book as a comprehensive guide to the history and stories behind Busan's cuisine. In international news, the White House has defended President Joe Biden against questions about his mental fitness, with Biden urging Democrats to stop the criticism and challenging doubters to confront him directly. In a tense press conference, Biden's spokesperson denied any undisclosed illness, specifically rejecting rumors of Parkinson's disease. Concerns about his mental acuity have grown since a poor debate performance against Donald Trump on June the 27th. And now taking a look at the weather here, several areas in Busan experienced the tropical nights where nighttime temperatures remained above 25 degrees Celsius. According to the Busan Meteorological Administration, temperatures in Kumjeonggu and Pukgu reached 26 degrees, while Busan Jinggu and Saseonggu recorded 25.4 and 25.3 degrees, respectively. Busan is expected to see intermittent rain this afternoon, with heavy rainfall predicted early tomorrow. It is currently 25 degrees Celsius here, and due to high humidity at 90%, the feel-like temperature is currently 28. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Animals are a big part of what makes life here on Earth interesting. They keep people going to the zoo or even going on safari, and some of us even bring animals into our own homes so that we can live together. Many of us might assume that even though animals are very important, they're no match for us. Humans are the best and the brightest, right? Not so fast. Today, we're going to talk about some of the other intelligent animals out there in the world. It's Tuesday, July 9th. This is the 2 p.m. Reboot. Let's get it started. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just listened to the Animal Song by Savage Garden to kick off the show today. The Animal Song is a song by the Australian pop music duo Savage Garden, and it was actually released as a single in February 1999. The song was written for the soundtrack of the film The Other Sister, which I recall that film, I believe, about some English royalty. And it also appeared on their second studio album, Affirmation. And this was the band's first song to be recorded or produced by Walter Afanasieff, who is a producer well known for his work with Mariah Carey. And we're talking about some animals today, as you could hear at the beginning of the show. So we'll be talking about a lot of different kinds of animals. And we're coming to you live, of course, today from Busan in this Tuesday afternoon. It's a little muggy out there, a little bit moist. But hang in there. It's going to get a little bit rainy. I was just listening to coming up soon. It's going to rain more this week. So there we have it. We're coming to you live from BEFM 90.5 FM in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jungwon, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM. And in Gwangju, we're at GFN 98.7 FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to give you an update. Yesterday, I was talking about trying out fan techniques. We were talking about air conditioning alternatives yesterday on the show. And I decided to sleep with the fan on last night. No air conditioning. I was going to do my best to not turn on the AC at all and see if I could sleep well. And it worked. I didn't break out the bowl of ice. I didn't put out a bowl of ice in front of the fan. But I did just use the fan all night in my bedroom. And that was perfect. I actually slept so good. Maybe you can see it in my face. If you go to YouTube, we're streaming right now. If you search BEFM or Busan 영어방송, you can see I'm looking at myself. Oh, yes. The dark circles are less than usual. I got some good sleep last night. So, yes, fan instead of air conditioning for sure. And it was just way too muggy yesterday when I got home. So I didn't try the two open windows and two fans parallel to each other. But I will try that once the humidity goes down a little bit. It was just too gross to do that last night. I got stuck riding home in the rain on a motorcycle. Not a fun way to get home. But it was well worth it because I was recording an interview with a band that we're going to air next week. So I was very excited to do that. So it was well worth it. I was working for you last night. I was working hard. So yes, if you want to join us on YouTube right now, you can do so. Just search BEFM or Busan 영어방송. We are streaming live right there, right now. I do want to let you know, we do have a music copyright issue. So when we play music, the songs will be muted on YouTube. However, if you want to listen to the show in its entirety with all the music included, of course, we're doing that on FM radio. But also, you can download our smartphone app. If you go to your app store and search BEFM or Busan 영어방송, you can download the smartphone app there. You can comment on the show. You can say hi. But you can also listen to us wherever you go. So we do apologize that there is an issue with streaming music on YouTube. And we do hope to get that resolved as soon as possible. We do have a lot coming up on the show today, of course. We've got, in hour number 1, we do this every day. We've got Hot Off the Press first. And these will be 2 new songs that have been recently released. And we'll give you some background information about the songs and the artists. And then we've got, because it is Tuesday, we've got Officially Amazing with Melissa. Melissa's back with us today. And she's going to bring in some stories of some amazing people or amazing accomplishments. And she's just going to be amazing herself, right? Melissa's always amazing. So we're looking forward to that too. In hour number 2, we've got our daily list for today. And we were talking about, at the beginning of the show, animals that are smart besides us. We kind of take it for granted, I think, that we're the smartest things on Earth. There's nothing close to us, and we're so intent on finding other smart things out in space that we don't focus on all the other living things here. There's a lot of smart animals out there, and for today's daily list, we're going to talk about some of the smartest animals in the world. That might include us as well. Sometimes I wonder about people. I don't know. I know we're supposed to be smart, but there's relatively speaking, I've seen some things recently where I'm kind of questioning human intelligence a lot. Okay, but also, we're going to have, after the daily list for today, we're going to have Tomorrow Today. We do this every Tuesday, and we're going to talk about some things that are basically giving us a glimpse into the future. And this also is related to intelligence and animals. There have been a lot of studies and a lot of research that has been done recently to indicate maybe we should redefine how we think about intelligence. So that'll be really fun and interesting to talk about. And also, we've got our perfect playlist for today. We're going to have 2 more cover songs. This is our theme for this week. Some of the best cover songs you're going to hear. And I'm familiar with the 2 today. They're just fun songs to listen to. I love both the originals and the covers, so you'll have to stay tuned and see what our best covers will be for today's perfect playlist. And of course, I'll be checking your messages throughout the show. You can say hi, tell me how you're doing, tell me how you're getting on in that weather out there. It wasn't raining when I was outside. It was just kind of misting. It was just kind of like that clinging to you stickiness, and it was a little bit muggy. So if you're outside, I hope you can put up with it. It feels a little gross. And I guess it's going to get a little more rainy coming up soon. So tell me how you're doing, how you're getting by in the weather. But also, I want you to tell me, because we're talking about animals today, imagine you are going to be reborn, right? Imagine you had this ability. Once your human life has ended, you can be reborn as something else. I'm curious, what animal you would like to be reborn as? 어떤 동물로 다시 태어나고 싶나요? For me, personally, it's always been between 2 things, 2 choices. Either something not human-like at all or the most possibly human-like choice. I've got 2. I would either like to be a bird just because I would like to experience flying. I've got this terrible fear of flying, so I don't really enjoy flying on planes anymore. Helicopters out of the question. Hot air balloons, no thank you. I'll pass. But if you come back as a bird, if you could be reborn as a bird, I imagine flight would just be completely enjoyable, because it's under your own effort. You're making yourself fly, and I don't know. Just imagine. I actually can't imagine what that would feel like. So, a bird would be one choice, or I think I'm afraid of not being human-like if I'm to be reborn. I always thought it would be cool to be like a chimpanzee, and I can't explain that for any reason except they're kind of human-like, right? They look kind of like us. They kind of interact kind of in the same way we do. And they're just fun to watch. I've always if I do end up at a zoo, I'm always looking for the ape exhibition, and chimpanzees have always been my favorite ones to watch. And I hope, they're okay in the zoo because they're so smart. I can't imagine they're having a good time in the zoo. They'd probably rather be in the wild, but yes, if I do go to the zoo, I'm always checking in on them. Chimpanzees, how are they doing? I want to know. So let me know what animal you would like to be reborn as. 어떤 동물로 다시 태어나고 싶나요? You can send us your message here at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You could reach us on KakaoTalk for free if you search BEFM or 부산영어방송. Just add us on KakaoTalk and you can message us for free. Also, as I mentioned before, if you go to the App Store on your phone, we have our very own smartphone app. You can search BEFM or 부산영어방송. Download the app, log in, and you can send us some messages and let us know what kind of animal you would like to be. So bird and chimpanzee, I'm putting those out there. I'm curious what other people would like to be. I can't imagine. I don't know. My choices are probably a little bizarre to begin with, but maybe I'm not alone. Would anybody else like to be a bird? Think about it. Let me know. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick song break with Don't Leave Me Lonely by Clean Bandit, and then we'll be back with Hot Off the Press. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard Don't Leave Me Lonely by Clean Bandit. And now it is time for Hot Off the Press. We do this every day, Monday through Friday. We bring you 2 of the newest, hottest tracks from around the world of music. And there are so many songs to keep up with, but we do our best to bring you 2 of the best of them so that you will enjoy what we've got coming up here. And the first song for today is definitely enjoyable. I looked up the video because I was reading about it and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. This is Whoops by Meghan Trainor. And this is from the release of her 6th album, Timeless. She's got a new music video going with the track. It's also been debuted live on those talk shows in the U.S. The song Whoops basically showcases Trainor in a minimalist setting. It's like a small room she goes into. She dances, she poses a little bit, and then she enters with a baseball bat. Anytime somebody walks into a room with a baseball bat, something bad is going to happen. So you'll see plenty of destruction while she's singing about lyrics about an ex-boyfriend, ex-lover who made a mistake. She proceeds to smash the furniture in the room to kind of highlight her frustration. So if you're a fan of the 1997 film Gummo, where you can see plenty of furniture being destroyed, I highly recommend Meghan Trainor's new video for Whoops. And this is off her 6th album, Timeless, and that is a collection of songs that blend Trainor's signature self-empowering lyrics with the modern sound. And the album's release marks a significant moment for Trainor. She's set to embark on her first tour in 7 years this summer and fall, so expect to hear a lot more for her soon. Their second song for today is Midnight by Will Young. And Will Young is a multi-award-winning British pop star who's unveiled Midnight, the poignant second track from his forthcoming album, Light It Up. This is a wistful electronic pop number. Midnight plays out the inner dialogue of a single man in his 40s. Uh-oh, I think I'm going to feel this one deep. He said, I really hope this is the go-to pop album for a dance, for a cry, and for a celebration. I know I do all 3 with it. It feels empowering to write songs about what it is to be mid-40s in a different shape, still frustrated with certain aspects of my life. You might see me tear up on this one. So I'm excited to hear these 2 songs for today on Hot Off the Press. First up, Whoops by Meghan Trainor, followed by Midnight by Will Young.
It's the real difference between an adult and a child.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Midnight by Will Young. Midnight. I was listening to that echo there. That was Midnight by Will Young. And before that, you heard Whoops by Meghan Trainor. And those were our two songs for today for Hot Off the Press. Brand new music. Hope you enjoyed both of those. And of course, today we're talking about animals because why not? Because animals are cool. And actually, because I read an article about animals and I kind of forgot how smart they are. And I was thinking, okay, if I could come back as any animal, which sometimes I have this thought, right? And I see David out there. I see you out there. He's thinking about this question too. What animal would you like to be reborn as? I got two choices for myself. It'd be a bird because I just want to fly naturally. David's going for the pig. Yeah, pigs are smart too. Pigs are smart. They're very intelligent. I'm going to rethink about eating them. I don't know. I don't know if I can eat them anymore after reading about them. So yeah, pig is a possibility. They're very smart animals. They're lovely, lovable, also delicious, unfortunately. So we got birds, pigs. My other choice would be chimpanzee because they're just kind of cool. They're like fun to watch and they're very human-like. So 어떤 동물로 다시 태어나고 싶나요? That's what I want to know. We got a message here from Neil Nim who says, any animal who can live peacefully over 100 years. I'm guessing blue whale. I think blue whales live a long time, maybe over 100 years. Galapagos tortoise. Those live a long time. They're very peaceful. So yes, I'm curious what animal you would like to be reborn as. If you come back as something else, what would you like to be? So you can message us at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You can reach us for free on Kakao Talk if you search BEFM or 부산영어방송. Or, of course, as I mentioned before, you can go to the App Store and download our very own smartphone app, and you can log in and leave us some messages there. So think about your answer. I'm going to ask Melissa. Melissa's in the studio, so I'm going to ask her what animal she would like to come back as in just a moment. All right, it is Tuesday. Melissa is back in the studio. Welcome back, Melissa. It's time for Officially Amazing. Are you feeling officially amazing?
Well, I was feeling like a bird when you were talking about that because all I could think was Nelly Furtado. Nelly Furtado agrees with me. You know that song.
I do.
Right?
Is it good like the piano line that keeps going in?
I'm like a bird. I only
Yes.
fly away. That's you.
Okay.
You and Nelly Furtado.
The
You
both
are
of us?
one.
We could be
With
together.
bird feelings.
We could. I would probably be the smaller bird, and she would probably attack me. That's my guess. Like my paranoia immediately crept into the scenario. Like,
Okay, so she's like, what's an aggressive
hawk.
bird? I was thinking woodpecker, but okay.
Yeah.
Hawks, also aggressive.
I would be
And
like a
you're
little, like
sparrow.
a robin, a sparrow. Oh, even
Okay.
smaller.
Okay,
A
but
sparrow.
people like robins, so
I-
you could be a robin.
I could work with Batman if I were a robin. Oh dear.
Da-ba-der.
Do you actually have you ever thought about this? Like what animal you would like to be if you could be another?
Not so much that I would like to be, but the
Yeah.
animal that I'm most similar to, and I feel like it carries over into this too, and it's a house cat.
Cat's a good choice. I can see that. You're cat.
Because I'm nocturnal like a cat.
Yeah.
I love naps like cats.
Don't take one now.
Right. Boss around humans while being freeloaders. That is not something that I do, but that's something that cats do, right?
Right.
Because we say, cats adopt people, not the
Right.
other way around, right?
It's true. They are totally manipulating people all day long.
Right?
Yeah.
So, my brother, he's actually a proud cat dad to now 5. He just
5
got
cats?
one more cat. But many
needed
of
one
them,
more.
like when he first got his first cat, that cat just like ran into his apartment. Yeah.
The
see?
latest one as well?
No, the latest one he went and picked up
On
from an
purpose.
animal shelter.
He's
on
like, I've only got
purpose.
4. I need one more cat.
Yep, we do. And so, that's showing. Cats are independent. They
Right.
tell the humans, who's the boss. And they're freeloaders, right? Cats don't go to work. They're
Yeah.
just like cute and they're like, love me, pet me. Okay, now I'm done. Please
Right.
go away.
And like,
That's a great life.
When I don't want you around, I will let you know.
Yes.
And they're very clear about it.
Oh, yes. Very clear, very communicative.
Right.
Yes. So
I
being
wish
a cat.
I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, a
you're
house
right.
cat.
Good choice.
Stray cats, that's a little more of a dangerous life.
They often don't have a tail, I've noticed.
Yeah,
They
which
lose the tails.
is really sad.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that happens, but yeah.
Dogs.
Oh.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes, it's an unfortunate way to lose a tail.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
House cat.
House
That's why
cat.
you have to be
Inside.
a house cat.
Indoor.
Inside, lazy, comfortable, pampered, spoiled life.
And you can make that sound all day.
I didn't even know that was you at first. That's a pretty good sound effect right there.
That is my hidden talent. I can make a cat purring noise. That's
nice.
it.
I like that.
Thank you. I've been practicing that for 20 years. Finally. Melissa
Finally.
gave me the chance to use it.
Now you can use it. Yes. Well done.
Well, thank you for coming in, of course, on Tuesday. And thank you for your answer, because I didn't consider cats. But, of course, we're here to talk about officially amazing things. Are we going to talk about cats?
No, we are not talking about cats
No
today.
segue there, okay.
No. In the past few weeks, countries around the world, they've been choosing their most talented athletes to compete with the best in the world at the Paris Olympics, right? But with 10,500 athletes competing under 206 different flags, it might be kind of hard to know who to root for, especially considering the Winter Olympics. They
Right.
usually have less than 3,000 athletes from about 80 countries. So
big difference, yeah.
big difference. With all those sports stars, it might be tough to know who to root for. So today, I brought some of the most talked about athletes from trials that are the ones to watch, along with the biggest issues already facing the games.
So we've got amazing people followed by amazing problems.
Yes,
I like
great
it.
way to sum it up. I love
like
that.
it. All right, let's start with the people.
Okay, so I want to start with my favorite sport, gymnastics or chejo.
That's what gymnastics is in Korean. I didn't know that.
Yes,
Chejo.
it is chejo. So if you've never heard of this before, in
Yeah.
Korea, there's Son Yeon-jae, who retired now, but she was rhythmic gymnastics, where you've got
Music?
the ribbon and the ball and the hoop, right? The clubs. But we're talking the artistic gymnastics.
Okay.
And in artistic gymnastics, we've got the GOAT, or greatest of all time. She's competing once again, Simone Biles.
I know that name.
Right, representing Team USA. She nearly swept all the medals at the 2016 Rio Games, but she had to pull out for much of the Tokyo Olympics. She seems better than ever for Paris, though, and that's coming up quickly. It runs July 26th to August 11th, by the way.
Right.
So Simone's difficulty is unmatched, not only in women's gymnastics, but also in men's.
She's a very difficult person.
Yes, for her skill set. Yes.
She can do very difficult things.
Oh, yes.
Gotcha.
So perhaps her most impressive gymnastic skills can be seen in vault, where she does a Yurchenko double pike.
Excuse me?
Yurchenko double pike. So it's named after a gymnast, Yurchenko, who was the first ever to compete this. Incredibly difficult.
I
Just
imagine.
believe me. It's so
It's
difficult.
hard to say.
And if you watch other gymnasts doing much easier vaults, they still don't get anywhere near the height that Simone Biles gets, right? So
Why is she so
basically,
good?
in gymnastics, we think fly high, jump big. That's basically what you want. Make it look easy. Simone Biles absolutely does that. And then the same goes for Simone's floor routine. Her first pass is a triple twisting double tuck, literally has her launching herself 12 feet or 3.65 meters into the air.
From the floor.
From the floor. It is absolutely astonishing. You can watch her compete first on Sunday, June 30th for the team competition.
So maybe July 30th, I'm guessing.
Oh, July. Sorry,
Yeah.
did I say June? July 30th.
Okay.
Coming up later this month. Yes.
She's so difficult that she confused the calendar even, right?
Yep.
So
Everybody's confused because we're astonished. 12 feet in the air.
I was just thinking, like that's double me, basically.
Yes.
Right?
Right? And she is a very short person if you see her. It's not like,
gonna look her up.
you
I know-
an NBA basketball star when they jump and they, hang off the hoop. It's like, well, that was like 3 inches because you're like 7 feet tall. But she is actually very short. Most
yeah.
gymnasts are. And she launches
142
herself.
centimeters she is.
142 centimeters, yeah. So she's short, and she launches herself 12 feet in the air for her first floor pass.
She weighs 47 kilograms according to this information, whatever the time was for that. So wow, she's just got all this power.
Yes.
She's a tiny powerhouse.
There's a reason why she's called the GOAT.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And again, that means greatest of all time. It's not an insult.
No,
Right.
not an insult.
No, don't call anybody a goat unless they deserve it, right?
Yes,
So, okay,
absolutely.
She's actually not new to the Olympics, right? Are there any other notable athletes that are coming back like her from an absence, or?
Yes. So Nino Salukvats of Georgia just made history as the athlete to qualify for the most Olympics.
Oh, wow.
The 54-year-old competes in the women's 25-meter pistol event, and Paris will be her 10th. That's right, her 10th Olympics.
A lot of people never make it one time. She's
Yes,
made it 10.
she's made it 10,
Wow,
right?
that's impressive. With a gun.
Yes, with the pistol shooting events. Nino made her Olympic debut right here in Korea at the Seoul 1988 Games,
Wow.
where she won both a gold and a silver medal. But at that time, there was the Soviet Union, so she competed under a different flag.
Right.
She became quite famous at the 2008 Beijing Olympics because Nino, then competing for Georgia, beat her Russian rival in a shootout that dominated headlines because the two countries represented in that 10-meter air pistol event were at war at the time.
Oh,
So,
right. That
yes,
was 2008.
2008.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. What a difficult time. And that's an interesting thing about the Olympics. You know, there's always something going on in the world.
Yes.
And then when you see countries that are having issues outside of the Olympics compete with each other in the Olympics, it's a weird thing, right?
It becomes very tense.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So I'm curious because she's been in 10 Olympics and she's now 54. So is she probably the oldest Olympic competitor?
I thought she would be, but she's actually not even close because,
real?
like you just said, Nino, 54 years old. She points out mental strength much more important in her sport than physical strength, which
Right.
is why she's been able to do it for so long. The oldest female Olympian ever was in equestrian. So this
A
is
horse rider?
Yeah, a horse rider. It was a British athlete named Lorna Johnstone. She competed in the 1972 games at age 70.
Wow.
Right? And for men, it was a Swede named Oscar Swan. He competed in shooting also. He was 72 years old when he completed his Olympic experience back in 1920.
So these are records that have been waiting around to be broken.
Yes, they have been.
Do you say Nino? Nino is
Yes,
right?
Nino.
Nino Salukvats.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for spelling that out for me there. Nino Salukvats. Maybe she will go the gold. Go the distance to beat, age 70. She's just got to hang in there for math. 16 more years.
She's got to hang in there a long time. Even if she doesn't get that record for oldest competitor ever, she does have other pretty cool titles. So,
bet.
for example, Nino and her son were the first ever mother and son to compete in the same Olympics.
Wow.
They competed together in Rio 2016. And her son is a big reason why she didn't retire after Tokyo. Nino said her son threatened to quit pistol shooting if she didn't try for Paris.
Wow.
So she stayed in that and for her country, Georgia. She said, "It's not important for me. It's important for my country. Georgia is really small and 80% of the world population doesn't know where it is. So maybe if I achieve this, they will know about my small paradise country."
Aw.
So yeah, let's hope so. Shooting events, they begin right away on July 27th.
So this will, they'll be coming up, towards the end of the month. Okay, we still got a little while to wait. I was like, what's today?
What's today? What is
July
today? I don't
9th?
even know. Yeah.
July 9th. So we got to, it's like probably 2 weeks or so.
Yes.
You can see my math skills failing me
2
right there.
weeks. Don't meet your friends. Stay home and watch TV. Yes.
Okay, right. And there's going to be a lot of pistol events that we should look forward to.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Very cool. Yeah, Georgia, represent. All right. Because a lot of times when people say Georgia, they might think of the state in the United States, not
Yes.
the country. We're talking about the
We're
country
talking
of
about
Georgia.
the country.
That's right.
Yes.
Also known as Gruzia, in case you're not familiar.
Okay.
There you go.
I did not know that.
I'm going to take a quick song break so I can reset my math skills because I just broke my brain there. So we're going to listen to Make You Mine by Madison Beer, and then we'll be back with more Officially Amazing with Melissa. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. And you just heard Make You Mine by Madison Beer, which is probably my favorite name I've heard all day. It's a good name.
It is.
It's a good name.
It makes me think of
Makes me thirsty.
Wisconsin, and so many brand names come to mind.
And a good cheese on the side.
Oh, yeah. Put it together. Beer cheese soup.
There
That
you
is
go.
famous.
Oh, wow. That sounds delicious. I've never
is.
had it, but that sounds really good.
Recommended.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. You just made me hungry, extremely hungry. I've only got 1 more hour to go. I'll be all right.
You'll
no
be
problem.
fine. It'll be fine. This is fine.
We're here with Melissa, of course, for Officially Amazing. And we were talking about the Olympics before the break, and we were talking about some people to look out for, people returning to the Olympics and people who have been returning for quite a while. 10 Olympics in a row for Nino.
Yes.
Nino. I'll have to look again. Nino Salukvats.
Yes, of Georgia.
Melissa actually spelled it for me in like half Korean, so I could be like, okay,
Yes.
I work it out. Wow. So yeah, a lot of like cool people to look forward to in the upcoming Olympics. Anything else we got about the Olympics for today?
Yes, we have to move on to the world of swimming because wouldn't be Summer Olympics without
Right.
swimming competitions,
I
right?
want to swim right now, in fact.
Okay, it is humid.
Yeah.
So, if you're like most people and you want to watch swimming for the star performance, you need to check out the Australians.
Right.
So, Kaylee McEwen, she set a 100-meter backstroke world record of just 57.27 seconds.
Whoa.
By comparison, the American record is 0.14 or 14 hundredths of a second slower.
Isn't that like so frustrating when it's that close?
Yes,
Like,
it's
if you're
that
the
close.
person-
But I mean, when you're trying to break these records, it's actually a lot, right? Seems
Right.
so small, but it's a lot. Kaylee was interviewed right after she took home that world record. By the way, it was her second record just that same weekend.
Wow.
Here is what she had to say.
I was going to say after you've had 24 hours to process your world record yesterday in October, we'll chat about that, but you've just done it again. What's going through your mind?
I don't know, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that at all tonight. I had a feeling I could get close, but never thought I'd go under in a million years.
And I mean, doing that, the 50, the 1 and the 2 is a crazy achievement. Obviously something that you're striving for, but there's such different races. It just shows your versatility. Did you ever think you'd be able to do that? Was it always something that was in your mind?
Not at all. I think, really moving to my coach, Michael Boll, it's given me a lot of confidence, and I think it goes without saying that it's really showing in my performances, so I couldn't be more thankful for him and the support that we have back home.
Yeah, maybe they should give her a little more time before they interview her.
Yeah,
Did she just get out of the pool?
She did. She was still in her swimming suit. She was actually sitting in a chair because
She's tired.
She's tired, and she broke a world record right before the interview and the day prior. She
Right.
also broke a world record a little bit further into the past. She broke another world record, so it's, she was tired. She had a reason to be tired. But
You know what?
yes.
I hope she got herself a Madison beer after that. You know what I mean? Like, she deserved it. Two
She
records
deserves it,
in
yes.
the same weekend, right?
Yes.
That's insane. And obviously the interviewer was surprised as well because he sounded even flustered about it. But yeah, it sounded like she was like, guys, just give me a second here.
Yes.
Because
she herself, she did not expect to beat the world record. And as you were watching her swim that race, it looked like, she's just going to be, a little bit short of the world record. But no, she smashed it. So
how does that happen even? Like, she gets like a sudden surge of like adrenaline to push her through that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens, huh?
I guess so.
I meant if you exercise, I can't imagine because I never do. Like, I don't know what happens to people when they move their bodies physically. So I'm trying to think about it. Amazing, right? A lot
Yes.
of amazing athletes they'll be coming up. Are there other people to look forward to in the swimming events as well?
Yes, in different swimming events, the story is much the same. So, for example, in the 200-meter freestyle, Australians Ariane Titmus and Molly O'Callaghan, they also blew past the world record. So it seems like Team Australia is the team to beat.
Wow.
But it is not all good news in the world of swimming.
Bad news?
Yes.
Uh-oh, what's the bad news?
So it was just revealed this past May that a group of 23 Chinese swimmers, including 200-meter breaststroke world champion Qin Haiyang and 200-meter individual medley champion Wang Shan, all tested positive for the performance-enhancing heart medication called trimetazidine. Basically, that pill helps the heart be more efficient, which obviously could be beneficial to athletes. It is on the banned substance list. However, even though that group of Chinese swimmers tested positive for the banned medication in 2021, they were somehow still allowed to compete in the Tokyo Olympics. And 11 of those same athletes that tested positive for doping at the Tokyo Games are going to compete in Paris as well.
So nearly half of the group of 23 will still be able to compete.
Yes.
Did you see my math right there?
Yeah.
See, I needed that song
There you
break.
go.
My math is back.
On point.
So 11 people out of 23 will still be allowed to compete, even though they have been found, guilty. Can you say guilty? Of
Yes.
Are they
Right.
guilty?
Yeah.
There's no trial, of course, but they did test positive for using something that's not supposed to be used during the Olympic Games. And that just kind of ruins the whole experience for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Then you kind of wonder, do these records really mean anything?
Yes, exactly.
That's unfortunate.
It is frustrating. When I read this, I was thinking, is anybody else getting deja vu? Because, of course, I'm thinking Russian state-sponsored doping. It banned Russian athletes from competing under their own flag for the Beijing and Tokyo Games. Yet
for 2
somehow,
games, right.
yes, Russian athletes were still doping, right? The figure skater, Kamila Valieva, she was doping.
She was found guilty.
IOC did nothing. Yeah, almost 3 years later, right? So years to make a simple ruling, very, very slow. And it has people wondering what the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, what they're doing. Why are they so slow? Can we
name is
trust
WADA?
them? Yes, the name is
What are they doing?
WADA. Yeah,
What are they doing?
WADA is WADA doing, yeah. So anyway, it's something that is a big controversy now for the games, and it has a lot of fans, but especially athletes, concerned about how fair the Olympics really are.
Yeah, because for one thing, when they're doing these drug tests, right, the theory is you do them before the Olympics to prevent this, right? But
Yes.
is that the case? So that's not what happens?
Well, sometimes that does happen. So an American swimmer, Michael Brinegar, he was not only kicked out of Olympic trials, he was also given a 4-year swimming ban in the U.S. for doping. That happened just a few weeks ago.
Oh, for real?
Back in the Tokyo Olympics, British track and field star CJ Uja, along with other track and field athletes from Kenya and Georgia, they were found to be doping and disqualified. CJ was stripped of his silver medal less than a month after the games ended. Yeah, usually it is very fast. The disqualifications are quick, and they should be, but with Russia and China, it's now causing more controversy once again, right?
That's very unfortunate. So let's hope, of course, that this gets sorted before the games take place. We still got, according to my math, 2 and something weeks.
Yes, we do.
So thanks for a lot of the fascinating information about what's going on in the Olympics. We'll definitely look forward to that, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
That was Melissa for Officially Amazing, and we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Ready For It by Taylor Swift, and we'll be back at 3.
Your Bridge to the World. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Electric kickboards and electric bicycles are common on the streets these days. With the increased use of personal mobility devices, the number of accidents and deaths have reportedly increased significantly.
Personal mobility patrol mode.
I don't need to wear a safety helmet because I'm only riding a short distance.
Wear a safety helmet. When you drive your personal mobility devices, you have to wear a safety helmet.
Hey, I rented an electric kickboard. Let's ride it together.
Okay, you drive in the front, I'll get in the back.
Follow the number of passengers. Only one person can ride an electric kickboard and electric wheel parallel car.
Follow the rules of personal mobility devices and drive safely. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard Too Sweet by Hosier to kick off the second hour of the show. And I was just checking some information about Hosier. I'm interested in people's ages and heights now, I guess, because we've been talking about Olympic athletes. And Hosier is a, 34-year-old musician, Irish musician, 198 centimeters tall. He's a tall guy. And that song you just heard, Too Sweet, is basically, it's a ballad where he's portraying himself as somebody who's way more into whiskey than health food. And I guess his other half, on the other hand, is devoted to discipline, being healthy, early mornings. And it's one of those relationships that are bound to just fail, right? The complete opposites, right? So Too Sweet paints a picture of a love affair teetering on the edge because they have a fundamental mismatch in energy and interests. So there you go, Hosier. And also famous for, we were talking during the break there, Take Me to Church. That was the song I first knew him for. What a kind of unusual artist. He doesn't even sound Irish to me at all, but he is one of those Irish artists that have actually hit the top, the Billboard Hot 100 at the top of the charts. That includes other Irish artists like Gilbert O'Sullivan with Alone Again Naturally. Very familiar with that song. Also, U2 had With or Without You, and I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, hit the top 100. And Sinead O'Connor with Nothing Compares to You. So Hosier joining Irish royalty in the Billboard Hot 100 charts there. You're listening to us here in Busan on this Tuesday afternoon. We're coming to you live from BEFM 90.5. And if you're in Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas, we're broadcasting on 103.3 FM. In Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM. And in Gwangju, we're at GFN 98.7 FM. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. It's a muggy one out there. I don't know about the weather where you are, but we're certainly muggy here in Busan today. It's muggy, muggy. But we've got a lot coming up for you in hour number 2. We've still got our daily list coming up. We've been talking about goats quite a bit because of the Olympics. I wonder, has the term greatest of all time, aka goat, has that improved the image of the animal, the goat? Does anybody want to be a goat? I don't know. They're kind of cool, I guess. They're smart, aren't they? Intelligent. They make nice cheese. Good milk. Sure, right? Goats. So I wonder, what kind of animal? That's what I was talking about today. What kind of animal would you like to be if you were to be reborn? And of course, on the daily list, we're going to talk about the smartest animals in the world. And then following that, we've got Tomorrow Today. We do this every Tuesday. A little bit of insight into what the future holds. Maybe technology, maybe industry. But in today's case, kind of more research-oriented and what research kind of is lacking when it comes to intelligence, determining what intelligence is. And, of course, today we'll have our perfect playlist. We do this every day. Our theme this week has been cover songs and some of the best cover songs you'll hear. So we've got 2 cover songs coming up for you today. Pretty well-known ones, I think. Both the original and the cover versions, I think both were chart toppers in their own time. So really interesting today. So, of course, if you have, I've got a bunch of messages here. Let's see. Yes, a lot of comments about Melissa coming back. Happy to have Melissa back, of course. She is the goat of Tuesday. Can we say that? She's the goat. She didn't say she wanted to be a goat, though. I think she would rather be a cat. To each their own, of course. Let's see. I got a message here from Lee Kelly Nim. Yes, also talking about the gymnasts. Yeah, I guess gymnastics is what a lot of people are going to be tuning into when the Olympics come up at the end of July. We've got a mention about Nadia Comaneci. Comaneci sounds like a Romanian name. And so yes, that was by no coincidence. We didn't mention that on the air, but we ended the first hour with the song Ready For It by Taylor Swift. That was no coincidence. Melissa chose that because that was Simone Biles' floor routine song. So that's maybe a song you might be hearing coming up in the Olympics coming up soon. And yes, hello to everybody out there chiming in. I got a message from Daily Scotty saying, I heard the water quality for the swimming competition in France is very bad. So we did get into a little bit of the difficulties that the Olympics will be facing. Seems to be some doping issues again. And I guess water quality is obviously very important for the swimming athletes. The swimmers want good quality water, of course. So, of course, every time the Olympics come up, there are always things to sort out, to fix, problems to find, and to correct. So I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about that coming up. But of course, if you'd like to tell me what animal you would like to be, if you were to be reborn, I've got David ventured a pig. Neil Nim said anything that lives over 100 and is peaceful. So I'm going Galapagos tortoise for that one. Melissa said a cat would be preferable. And I'm throwing my two choices in the ring. I would either be a bird or a chimpanzee. I'd be happy either way. Those are my two choices. So what animal would you like to be reborn as? 어떤 동물로 다시 태어나고 싶나요? So you can reach us here, of course, shop 9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You can reach us for free on Kakao Talk if you just search BEFM or Busan영어방송 in Korean. Add us and send us a message. And of course, you can go to your app store if you like and download our very own smartphone app. Just search BEFM or Busan영어방송 there. You can download the app, log in, send us a comment, send us 10 comments, send us however many comments you want, but also you can take the show with you wherever you go. Pretty cool, right? So with that being said, we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Make It All Right by The Offspring, and then we'll be back with our daily list. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and you just heard Make It All Right by The Offspring. It is now time for the Daily List, and today's Daily List is about the smartest animals in the world. And I've got a couple of messages that relate to actually the smartest animals in the world. So let's see. 6812님 says, 다시 태어나면 돌고래. 바닷속이 궁금해요. Oh, yeah, so that would be dolphin, right? So dolphin, yes, is definitely on this list. Dolphins are very intelligent animals. And I got an interesting message from Enid Nim who says, my son said he would like to be reborn as a dinosaur. I'm curious, what kind of dinosaur would it be? Because dinosaurs can range from very, very intelligent to not so intelligent, I guess we could say, right? So it depends on what kind of dinosaur that would be. I think T-Rex, famously not that smart, even though very big. And then those velociraptors, those ones in Jurassic Park, they could like open the doors. Those are apparently supposed to be very smart. But there's a lot of guesswork going on about what dinosaurs were intelligent and which ones were not, because there are no dinosaurs left. However, there are tons of animals still left on Earth, thankfully, that we can still research and study. And there actually are a lot of behaviors that were previously thought to be unique to humans that have been discovered throughout the animal kingdom. And animals are often using their brains like a superpower. In fact, it's actually really difficult to then compare them because scientists really can't rank them species to species and compare intelligence because there's different ways of showing intelligence, and perhaps they don't do things that we do, but they still do things to survive or to thrive in different ways that, probably even humans couldn't figure out. So this is a list that are obviously very smart animals. It can't be denied. They can't be denied, but this is not ranked in order because it's really impossible to develop an IQ test suitable for every species of animal. How would they take the test, right? Some of them don't have fingers. Some of them don't have anything to write with. So, yes, this is a list of very smart animals, not necessarily smarter than the others, but they're all very smart. So we're going to go with number order, but it doesn't really mean anything. It's just to keep track. So starting with number 1, chimpanzees and bonobos. These are two of my favorite animals. I would not mind being reborn as one of them. Chimpanzees and bonobos actually look very similar, and they're both very intelligent. They have complex social organization, and they actually share 98.7% of their DNA with humans. So we're pretty close family. Chimpanzees are actually famous for being tool users, using of tools, and also problem solvers. According to the Royal Zoological Society of Antwerp, they found that bonobos were actually better at solving puzzles than chimpanzees and beat them in intelligence tests. So those intelligence tests were suitable for both bonobos and chimpanzees. However, this was largely because of one particular individual bonobo who was just like super genius. Was he the goat of the bonobos? Perhaps. According to behavioral biologist Jerome Stevens, most of the bonobos and chimps understood puzzles but weren't equally motivated to solve them. So it might have also come down to motivation. Maybe they could have done it, they just didn't want to because they're too smart to do what people tell them to do. Smart animals, very smart. Number 2 actually was related to our message from our listener there, 6812nim. Number 2 is dolphins. Dolphins are very quick learners. They can mimic human behavior. They can solve problems. They can teach each other. And they also demonstrate self-awareness. This is largely due to, perhaps, one of the reasons for this is because dolphins have a large brain to body ratio. In other words, like the size of their brain and the size of their body, it's a very high ratio. Like humans, like we have a large brain for our body size. So perhaps that's some of the secret there. But researchers have also documented dolphins playing around to entertain themselves. It's like they've been watching me during the breaks, like fidgeting, right? They use shells or other ocean objects as toys sometimes to entertain themselves. And also, dolphins have sophisticated communication systems. Some species of dolphin can actually use even distinctive whistle sounds that might be names to identify each other. That's pretty complex, right? Number 3, a friend of mine, she's a big fan of octopuses. Cindy has told me many times that octopuses are genius intelligent, and there is a lot of research to back that up. There are stories of octopuses that are figuring out how to break out of the tanks that they're being held in research labs. There have been reports of them squirting water at overhead lights to turn off the light. And they actually, according to philosopher Stephen Lindquist, who once studied octopus behavior in a lab, when you work with fish, they have no idea that they're in a tank somewhere unnatural. With octopuses, it's totally different. They know that they are inside this special place and you are outside it. All their behaviors are affected by their awareness of captivity. So self-awareness being a big thing with octopuses. That's pretty cool. That's pretty intelligent, right? Reminds me of there's a movie, I believe it was called Contact, about the alien ships that communicated with this weird language, and they looked like giant octopuses. So maybe octopuses are aliens that are already landed here. Perhaps. Could be. Number 4, dogs. Nobody mentioned dogs as being an animal you'd want to be reborn as, but dogs are incredibly smart, and they know how to manipulate people into getting what they want. According to research in 2017, dogs have twice the number of neurons in their cerebral cortex than cats. So that should give them a considerable advantage and also confirm anecdotal reports that dogs are easier to train. Perhaps that's part of the reason. According to Frontiers in Neuroanatomy, there's a study that found that based on neurons, raccoons should also have similar capabilities to dogs. Interesting. But if you're a cat owner, don't worry. Cats are also still considered very smart. Between cats, raccoons, and dogs, the study did highlight that there needs to be a systematic cognitive capacity comparison across all 3 of those animals to decide which was the smartest. And dogs just came out on top. But dogs, raccoons, cats, all very intelligent animals. And all a good choice if you want to be reborn as one of those. Except for maybe raccoons. They spend a lot of time in garbage. I don't know if you want to do that. Number 5, orangutans. That's another one that's very close to us, genetically speaking. They've also got incredible brains. They are able to, quote unquote, talk about the past. And that's something that is only so far has been seen in humans. According to research that was done in 2018, Sumatran orangutans with infants delayed making an alarm call for up to 20 minutes after seeing a potential predator. So 20 minutes later, after seeing the predator that could be a threat, they made an alarm call 20 minutes later. They delayed it. And the researchers suggested that the apes didn't want to alert the predator to their presence, but later made the noise to teach their infants that encountering such an animal like that is dangerous. So it was an attempt to teach by using something that happened in a past experience, 20 minutes in the past, granted, but remembering something and trying to teach about it later. So this idea of communicating information about something that has happened in the past, or you can think about it this way, that might happen in the future, is thought to be one of the key features of human language. So orangutans displaying something very human-like there. Coming in at number 6 is crows and ravens. And you might be like, well, what's the difference? Crows are slightly smaller. Their feathers are a little bit different. Ravens, obviously slightly bigger. They've got a lot of these like feathers around their necks. But they're both living proof that the size of your brain may not matter. It's how you use it. So these animals both learn very quickly. Research suggests that 4-month-old ravens could be as intelligent as some adult apes. According to some experiments, they've also shown that ravens can plan for the future with tools that they're taught to use by humans. Crows, not too shabby either. They can actually have an excellent memory and remember human faces and identify certain people as friends and other people as enemies. So crows very, very intelligent as well. Another bird making the list, African gray parrots. Parrots are kind of well known to mimic human speech, but especially African gray parrots are said to be the most accomplished talking birds. According to experiments, that has proven they can actually understand words and can perform some cognitive tasks that are beyond what even 5-year-old humans can do. So look out, Leah, my daughter, you got, look out. The African gray parrots are coming for you. In 2019, one parrot named Griffin actually completed a series of experiments where he had to find out where the nuts were hidden in cups based on which cups he was shown to be empty. It sounds like that gambling trick you do play out on the street with the cups, you know, you find which one has got the thing under it. He always successfully picked the cup guaranteed to have a nut unless the researchers tried to make him gamble. If they wanted to have him like a 50-50 chance, sometimes he would not want to gamble. If he knew the odds were good, he would get something, he would do it. But if they gave him an extra incentive, perhaps, to do a 50-50 gamble, a little candy as a treat, then he would want to gamble. So he kind of knew, like, it's not worth it unless you give me something. I need some extra incentive. That's pretty impressive. Number 8 actually was something I was not aware of at all. Bumblebees are actually on the list of smartest animals in the world. They're great puzzle solvers as well. They have exceptional navigational skills. According to one experiment, apparently bees work out the optimal route to get to a flower when they have repeated visits back and forth. Why do they do that? To reduce the amount of time it takes for them to get there. Right? So they're finding the best way. It's like us, you know, after you get accustomed to living in a city and you're like, this is not the best way to get to work. If I go this way, it'll be much faster. There was another experiment that found that bees actually create mental images of objects like humans do and can transmit recognition of objects across their senses. Okay, what does that mean? That was English, I know, but that was a strange sentence. What that means is, for example, if it's dark, they can identify objects that they're familiar with by touching them if they've seen them before. So they can recognize with other senses. I had no idea bees were so smart. And they make honey. Thank you. Thank you, bees. And, you know, flowers and all that stuff. Fruit, that we need them. So, yeah, definitely protect the bees. Coming in at number 9, gorillas. So this list is full of the great apes. So gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, they have all actually been trained in some cases to communicate using some form of sign language. They all deserve to be on the list. A particularly famous gorilla named Coco actually reportedly mastered sign language. According to reports, Coco has said to have known more than 1,000 hand signs and understood 2,000 words of spoken English. So very smart. One particular very smart gorilla. However, in the wild, gorillas actually regularly use tools, have busy social lives, and can even laugh. And laughing is something you do if you're smart, right? It just helps you get through the day sometimes. Laughing is good for you. Number 10, the most probably divisive addition to the list, humans. So humans, sometimes we forget, are actually animals, and we are a very smart variety of animal. Usually we get caught up in the size of our brains and attribute that to why we're so intelligent. But as you've seen in the list, all the different animals on there, so brain size is not everything. And it is true that, you know, humans, we're on top for right now, but who knows how the future will develop. And there's a lot that we don't know about the animals still living amongst us, right? So there we go. That's it for our daily list for today for the smartest animals in the world. Let's take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Human by the Killers, and then we'll be back with Tomorrow Today. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard Human by The Killers, and that was a moment to kind of reflect. Are we human? Was he saying, are we human or are we dancer? I was curious, what was he saying there? But yes, we were talking before the song break about how humans are also on the list of smartest animals in the world. But we kind of usually separate ourselves from the animals, right? Usually when we think about it, we're like, there's us and them. We're humans, they're animals. But we're actually all animals. Well, everybody on the list there, we're all animals, right? So I've got a couple of messages about some more animals that didn't make the list. Let's see here. We've got... We've got, pigeon. Lee Kelly Nim wants to be a pigeon if he comes back because some revenge. I can imagine. Pigeons don't get treated well, perhaps is the issue, and they have a certain style of revenge that particularly hits cars, bikes, people's heads sometimes. I've gotten hit on the shoulder once. That was the closest. Not the head, thankfully. But also, yes. And a peregrine falcon. Also, birds. There's a lot of intelligent species of birds. Peregrine falcon would be one of those ones that are famous for being trained, I believe, right? Is that the ones that you can kind of train to like land on you? You know, and you can train them to travel back and forth to you. Maybe carry messages. It's probably a carrier pigeon. I'm combining the two. But a peregrine falcon, awesomeness of flight, all that speed, and, I guess the peregrine falcon will play with blowfish that produce a toxin, which can create some unusual effects. Interesting. So in other words, they're entertaining themselves by what animals they play with. That sounds very human-like to me. Choi Hee-suk Nim chiming in saying, good afternoon. It's raining on and off in my region. I think that's kind of where we're getting here today in Busan too. What region are you in? I'm just curious. It's not like hard rain. It's just kind of on and off like mistiness. Choi Hee-suk Nim says, I would like to be an eagle because I could fly freely in the sky and see the world up there. I'm with you. Bird. Yes, that was like one reason I would like to be a bird. It's smart to choose a big bird like an eagle or a falcon because you don't get picked on by the other birds. Yes, don't be like a robin or what was it? A sparrow? Yeah, then you'll be like prey for other birds. So if you're going to be a bird, might as well be a big one. And I got another message as well. Let's see. This is 9632 Nim, who says, I want to be born as Douna in Dooley the Little Dinosaur because I want to travel space freely and live on Earth. I'm looking at a picture of Douna. I'm not too familiar with Dooley the Little Dinosaur. I've seen it on TV. But Douna, I guess, is an alien, but a very human-like alien. Is that what that is? And looks kind of like she's got like bunny teeth. If you're not familiar, Dooley the Little Dinosaur is considered one of the most respected and commercially successful characters in South Korean animation in the early 1990s. And Douna was the prince. It's a prince. A prince of planet Kantapia, who makes an emergency landing on Earth due to some problems in space. And I guess Douna is very tough, but simple. And I guess the word loyalty was made for Donor. Donor is very loyal, I'm assuming. He can travel back and forth in time and space in the Time Cosmos spaceship. Very cool. So you want to be able to travel freely if you're reborn, 9632 Nim. Cool. I wonder what animal that would be considered. What animal is Douna? 외계인, I'm guessing. Yes, just alien. Cool. Interesting. All right. And hello to everybody in the chat there. Hello to TC, Humberto. Hello, hello. Thanks for chiming in today. I hope you guys are enjoying your day on this slightly more than muggy Tuesday. I hope the weather's good wherever you're at. But of course, right now we're doing Tomorrow Today. And in Tomorrow Today, we're talking about animals. So I wanted to read those messages because they're all about animals. And there's a need for us to kind of reconsider how we define intelligence. Apparently, we always just kind of bias animal behavior and compare it to what humans can do. So that's perhaps not the best way. We might have to reframe and redefine our terms for intelligence. Scientists and dog owners alike have long quibbled about what attributes or tendencies make one animal smarter or more intelligent than another. But according to research that has been done, the lines that divide all the kinds of different types of intelligence keep getting a little bit more and more unclear. Earlier this year, there was a group of 40 researchers from top universities around the world who signed on to the New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness. They argue that recent studies suggest far more animals than we previously considered have the capacity for consciousness. In other words, perhaps intelligence and awareness. What animals are they talking about? Obviously, birds. We just talked about birds like crows and ravens, very smart animals. Also, mammals. There's a lot of us in the mammal category. But researchers say there's even a realistic possibility of consciousness in other, less remarkable vertebrates, like reptiles, amphibians, fish, possibly even cephalopods. What are those, you might ask? Octopus. Octopus and squid even. Those are both cephalopods. And other animals that don't even have a backbone. They've got no backbone, but they've got perhaps consciousness. So there's a couple of animals that we didn't talk about yet that have been reevaluated concerning intelligence, and I'm going to go through them kind of quick. This article is pretty long. If you want to check it out, this is from Popular Science. There's a lot of animals we've already mentioned on the list. Some that we didn't. Elephants. Elephants are widely considered to be some of the most intelligent animals outside of primates, thanks to their exceptionally large brains and also their strong social bonds. The giant, long-trunked mammals have been observed mourning their dead and in some cases even burying them. Think about that. What a weird behavior, right? Like we do that and just take it for granted that that's the way things should be done in some cultures. But elephants too have considered, this elephant has passed on, let's put it under the ground. Very interesting. They also have notoriously long-lasting memories, which makes them adept problem solvers and also tool users. Outside of nature, this has been exploited in a lot of circus acts where elephants have sometimes been the main event. And according to other research, elephants are actually capable of replicating one another's calls with high levels of precision. In other words, they can copy each other's sounds very accurately. Also, an elephant in the Bronx Zoo in 2006 proved it was capable of recognizing itself in a mirror, and that is a key sign that researchers associate with self-awareness. So elephants, also very intelligent animals. Another one they mentioned in this article is pigs. I might have to rethink about eating pig. I don't know. Pigs are among the most intelligent animals that are still commonly eaten by humans worldwide. Researchers have observed pigs using mirrors, again, to examine their surroundings and ultimately to forage or look for food. More recently, a family of Visayan warty pigs were reportedly observed using sticks as tools to build nests, a behavior that was not previously observed. And some of the most recent research involving pigs was published in 2021 in Frontiers in Psychology. Researchers from Pennsylvania State University actually taught a pig to use a joystick to play a very basic video game. So the pigs are going to be addicted to the video games as well. Get the pigs off the screen time. I can see what's going to happen already. Crows we already mentioned, of course, so I'll skip them for now. Octopus we already mentioned, of course, so I'll skip them for now. Crayfish I want to mention because I have not talked about crayfish. Does anybody even know what crayfish are? They look like little lobsters. And that's basically what they are. They're close cousins of the lobster. Sometimes people call them crawfish. They actually exhibit signs of anxiety that is treatable through drugs that are commonly taken by people. They're very ancient-looking sea creatures. They've existed for hundreds of millions of years, and scientists have never really considered them typically possessing enough intelligence to be considered sentient. However, in 2014, there was a study from researchers at the University of Bordeaux. They exposed a test group to an electrical field, which was intended to produce a potentially anxious experience. After being zapped, the crayfish were placed into separate tanks, which had darker and lighter areas. Crayfish typically prefer darker areas, but the shocked subjects would avoid the lighter areas completely. So when the researchers examined the crayfish further, they saw that they were producing high levels of serotonin, which occurs in other species when they are trying to counteract anxiety. So another sign that they are very possibly intelligent, the researchers injected those crayfish with a very common anti-anxiety medication and found they eventually overcame their inability to explore the lighter areas of the tank. In other words, they got over their trauma. The trauma that was induced by the scientists. So I don't know how I feel about that. But on the other hand, it is now known that crayfish are possibly very much more intelligent than we ever thought. One final one I would like to mention, the cleaner wrasse. And that sounds like some kind of, some kind of tool. It's not. It's actually a kind of fish. It's the common cleaner wrasse. It's usually just about 4 inches in length and is found abundantly in coral reefs. And I think I've swam with them a few times. I've swum, I guess grammatically correct. See? Grammar's hard. They don't look like they would be anything special if you just look at them. But researchers have shown that they seem to be able to complete that mirror mark test, which is one of those widely used experiments to determine if an animal can recognize itself and therefore be self-aware. Even dogs typically fail this test. But according to a group of researchers who are writing in PLOS Biology, they placed 10 of the fish in a tank with a mirror. Most of the fish immediately thought the reflection was another animal. Some of them actually begin to spend more time with the reflection. They even began swimming upside down and performing other behaviors considered unusual for that species. When the researchers marked the fish with a brown dot, some of them appeared to recognize in the mirror that brown dot and even tried to scrub off the brown dot. So interesting. They were noticing differences that they could see in the mirror and were kind of changing their behavior. Were they testing themselves or were they testing other animals? I guess that's the question, and that's where the research will have to go from there. So what does this all mean? There are a lot more animals out there than we thought previously that exhibit signs of intelligence. So we should probably be aware that they need all the protection that they deserve, which is why a lot of those scientists signed on to that New York Declaration of, what did they call that? The New York Declaration of Animal Consciousness, right? So in other words, we should recognize that animals perhaps feel and think more than we previously believed and are deserving of more protection and consideration. So something to think about, because we would want that too. If we were these animals on the other side of things being like, hey, don't treat me like that. So there we go. That's going to do it for Tomorrow Today. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Belong Together by Mark Amber, and then we'll be back with our perfect playlist. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Belong Together by Mark Amber. And now it is time for our perfect playlist. We do this every day, Monday through Friday. This week, our theme has been Best Cover Songs. And this one is, I think, one you're very familiar with, perhaps. I'm familiar with both the original and the remake that we're about to hear. Our first song today is American Woman by Lenny Kravitz. This was one of the biggest hits for the Canadian group The Guess Who, and this was a song that seemingly warned against getting involved with American women. Ouch. But the songwriter Burton Cummings has since said in a 2013 interview that is simply a way of saying that he preferred Canadian girls. All right. You say tomato, I'll say tomato, sure. Whatever the meaning, Lenny Kravitz tapped into the song's magnetism and also made some room for some guitar theatrics in his 1999 cover that has become a cover version that actually stands alongside the original. And I think a little unique in his take on it as well. And our second song we're going to hear today is Venus by Bananarama. This is from Shocking Blue. And this is one of a handful of songs that multiple artists have taken to the top of the Billboard 100 chart. You're probably familiar with Bananarama's very dance poppy cover version from 1986, but actually it was first a hit for the Dutch rock band Shocking Blue way back in 1969. If you've never heard Shocking Blue before, this is one of their great songs, Venus, but also they made, Nirvana made one of their songs, Love Buzz, very famous as well in 1989. So Shocking Blue been covered a couple of times. So we're going to hear for today. First up, we're going to listen to American Woman by Lenny Kravitz, and then I'll be back after that. All right, that was American Woman by Lenny Kravitz, and we gotta go too. Thank you for listening to the show so much today. I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday edition of the 2 p.m. Reboot. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. You should please stick around for Your Busan. And thanks, Jack Kim, for your message as well. Wants to be a dragon. That's okay. Dragon's not a real animal. That's all right. Perfectly acceptable. Whatever animal you want to be, fly free, man. And of course, we're going to play one last song to play out the show. We're going to listen to Bananarama's cover of the shocking blue song, Venus. Have a great day, everybody.